Welcome back to another episode of Rock and Roll Redneck Outdoors. This is my taxidermy episode. What I decided to do is go through all my taxidermy and share it with you guys, tell you where it came. Some of it's my dad's, the rest of it's mine. Most of it you can see on this channel, the harvesting of it. So that being said, let's get to it. So this is a greater Canadian goose. I believe that's a 63-inch television, and that is about a 63-inch wingspan. I mean, look at the size of the feet on this thing. I mean, that's a pretty good sized foot for a bird. I got this, I believe it was 2015 in Saskatchewan, Canada. This was done by Cuss Creek Taxidermy. So that is the Canadian goose. This mallard, which is obviously not all that colored up, was done by Cuss Creek Taxidermy from Saskatchewan, Canada as well. It was early, so I didn't expect the duck to be super colored up. They did a great job. But I would like to get another one that's colored a little bit better one day. But I remember when they pulled up on the 18-wheeler from Canada, this one and that big one over the television and big crated box. It was really cool. And first mallard, first Canadian goose, first guided hunt, first hunt out of the United States, first time being out of the United States. So the Canadian goose and that one are one of them from the same trip. This is a speckled belly goose that my dad got, and I believe I was with him when he got this on my very first goose hunt. And I believe it was an Eagle Lake, Texas. I can't remember. I was young, and it was super cold that day. But you know, about 30 years old. But look at all the tar on that thing. Tar belly, I think is what they call these. I've never got one of these, but this was his, and I kept his when he passed away. So this will not be seen on this channel, but it's still cool nonetheless. This gray fox was at my spot, and it was done by A to Z Taxidermy, and I shot that one in a 308. You can see that on season 1, I believe. First predator, my nephew's first hunt. But they put on this cool rock, you know, really cool. And like I said, first predator ever. I've killed several foxes since then, but I wanted to get the first one I've ever popped. And I did shoot it with a 308, but you can't even tell. They did a great job. So this deer started it all. The first day I ever went deer hunting with my dad. And I wait for it. Yeah, look at that. He shot this deer, the first deer I'd ever seen shot. First time I'd ever been in a deer blind. He told me he never would have mounted it if it wasn't for me. And so I'm glad he did. It's got that little cool piece of character right there. And no brow time. This is a South Texas deer killed in Frio County by my father. And I'm pretty sure this was done by the people that do most of my taxidermy. So, the very opening day episode of season 2, I got this guy. And it's the biggest deer I've killed to date. He got a wounded ear. And I mounted this one because this was the first deer that I popped after Dad passed away. So these two will always be together. And that's when I killed it. And he had died just about a year to the date before. So these deer mean a lot to me. And that's what started it all right there. This looks bigger than it is from the camera angle. But this is a deer that I shot back in the late 80s, early 90s. It's really not that big. It just looks really big from the camera angle. Because they obviously broke. But this is one side compared to this guy, you know, not quite as big. You know, that's one side of his antler, got no brow tine. Probably should put these on one of those fake ones, but that fake stuff doesn't mean much to me. And then this is another one I killed. It looks like that. It's bigger than it looks too, because it's broken, but this is one side of its antler. All right, so this right here is a jackrabbit, what I call a black-eared jackrabbit. Don't know if that's the actual term. but I had this one tanned, and I have an idea for a trapper's mount, but I need to get some more hides of different animals, so this is one of them I'm going to use. I also want to mount just about every animal that I'm able to harvest or take via management, so that'll be number one. Here comes my dog to check it out. Hopefully he won't eat it. Obviously you probably know what that is. That is a raccoon, and that, I believe that is one of the big coons that we trapped in the trap, and I believe that one's on season 2. Don't think that the jackrabbit's anywhere, but that's a big old coon. Look at the tail. Beautiful animal. I wish they didn't eat all my turkey and quail eggs. I wouldn't be popping them, but I mean, he even got his little claws. Women, they have a present tail. What are you doing? This, I believe, is the red fox that was harvested. Does that have a hole in it? No. But I mean, look at the tip. Look how beautiful this thing is. So if you guys have any trapping mounts or any ideas, holler at me. I wish you could have saved the ears on the jackrabbit. Apparently that wasn't possible. But anyway, this is the gray fox, same as the one you saw on the wall. So right here we have some Native American artifacts, some seashells, computer stuff. This is a blackbuck doe hide, which the skull is right there. The first and actually only exotic I've ever been able to harvest. So that is the skull of the doe, and then here is her hide, which is, I think, is very pretty, with a couple of Native American artifacts, or at least what I think are Native American artifacts. Well, I might have to have another video about that because I have some questions. This is just a whitetail doe, first archery harvest, and actually only archery harvest to date. I need to get back into doing that. That was a lot of fun. This one, actually, you can see this doe in the end of season 2, I believe. And then this is season 1 archery video. And then old boy over here is on the first opening day in season 1. I have a bunch more Euro mounts, and of the 2 hogs that you saw, the 500 pounds of pork video, and then the 3 hides that I just showed you, the jackrabbit, the fox, and the raccoon, are all having their Euro mounts done. I have a display case that I want to put those in. So that is this little corner of my office/studio. That is a wood duck that my dad got. I believe he got this at the same place I got most of mine. It just happened to be on a pond and not the salt marsh. But that is his wood duck. I would like to get a wood duck as well. There's also one of these down at the ranch, but I'm not going to be able to get. Oh yeah, I am going there tomorrow, so I'll get a video of his other one. But I mean, look how pretty that bird is. That's crazy. Yeah, I need to get me one of those. All right, so this is probably my favorite duck mount, and a lot of y'all are going to laugh, but this is my bluebill. This was killed near Port Lavaca, Texas on my ducklies. Don't know if this is one that's on video, but dude, look at that. One of the guys at B&B Taxidermy that did it for me came out and told me this is one of the better bluebills he's ever seen. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's got like some purples, some greens, and then this pattern is unfreaking believable, man. You know, and just, I don't think they eat real well, but what a cool duck. It's probably my favorite mount. So next to that is my double blue-winged teal mount. Another cool colored bird. I should have got a female version of this, even though they're not as pretty, so I might have to work on that in the future too. But, you know, I got a lot of things I wanted to go do, and I believe this is a canvasback. Don't quote me on that. If I'm wrong, please somebody tell me, because that's my dad's. Don't know where he got it. It's a cool bird. I feel like I'm wrong. but I don't know. So somebody hit me up and tell me what that one is. So on this one, this is a Gadwall. I think this is a pretty bird, to be honest with you. And this is the bird that I know that I was the only caller in the blind, which I don't know how to call at all. My buddy Mike was in the blind, and I called this one in, and it came in. I mean, look at that pattern. How cool is that? I know the lighting's not great over here, but there's nothing I can do about that. Because apparently you can't use a flash. So, but anyway, this is my green-winged teal. All of these next three were shot in Port Lavaca, Texas, on the coast. Beautiful bird, man. And I like their, underbellies too, And then, so that's my green-winged teal. And then this is my Widgeon. I love these birds. Just a pretty bird. It's one of my favorite birds too. And sometimes I don't get them, they don't have to be perfectly colored up for me to get them mounted. When these are all first, I'm pretty sure the teal weren't the firsts, but the Gad, the Widgeon, and that bluebill were definitely the firsts. Okay, so this little guy tricked me, had some ground shrinkage, but this is the first buck I've killed on my property back in the season 1 of Rock and Roll Redneck Outdoors. Nothing to it. It's a small little 9-point. It definitely had some ground shrinkage when I got it, but the reaction to this video is worth watching. It's actually embarrassing, but there's that. Always be special. First one on the ranch. It's really not very big. Of course, this is, I believe, Cash's first hunt ever. Thank you, Brandon, for the photo. And then this one is actually in the same video as the last Euro mount I just showed you. It's a little bit bigger. I killed these 2 deer in back-to-back days. And this one actually grew a little bit when I got there, so I'm a little more proud of this deer. I mean, I'm proud of all my deer, even the does. But, it's not like this is a giant deer or anything. All right, so this is my dad's pheasant that he killed in South Dakota somewhere. He would go out there and from time to time with clients and stuff in his business, but this is his rooster pheasant. It's a cool mount. I like the way they put the fence posts and the barbed wire. This would be a fun hunt to go on too. But look at that, man. How can you not think nature is fantastic when they make stuff like this? And it tastes good. I had pheasant before. It was okay. Give me a pheasant recipe, even though I don't have any. My dad drew these. Since we're talking about my dad, he drew those years ago. Well, last but not least, we have these 2 deer heads here. This was my previous deer to date. This one's got some, doesn't have much tine here. It's got that little kicker off its brow. And this was the last deer I killed in Frio County, which those 2 that were on the countertop that were broken were killed in Frio County. And so is this one. And then I had one of my first deer, but it's got sold with my uncle's barbecue restaurant. And then this deer was killed near Corrigan, Texas, many, many, many years ago. I had not killed a buck in quite some time. This thing looked like an elk to me. Like I said, it looked like an elk. It barely measured over the 13-inch spread. I was very lucky because I got buck fever, which you'll notice that I do that. But this was a cool buck. This one I killed over a pond in South Texas. Sorry about the shadow again, but I just think these things are cool, man. Show you the taxidermy at the ranch. And this is Mike's deer that he killed last year, I guess. We called him Recliner because I felt like his antlers were pointed way back. That's an awesome deer. Probably the best deer that's been taken on this place, I think. This is my dad's other wood duck that I told you was here. This is just covered in dust. Another thing I do, or I started doing, is writing down kills on hats. And this one actually, I did it this way, It's on both sides. This hat had a lot going on. And then, you know, but now I've just gotten to where I fill up the bill. Because, you know, then people got to reach up there and mess with it, you know, if they want to see it. But this is my duck hat. Just put that up there. It's got the same thing on the underside. I started on the underside back in the day, but now they're all on the top. And it's just another way, you know, it's got all the does, foxes, pigs, stuff like that. So I hang the one that I'm currently using for deer season, even though it's got a couple of hogs on there, but this is the one I use for deer season. Well, thank you guys for watching this little taxidermy episode. I hope to get a whole lot more someday, but you know, you got to be able to kill them to put them on the wall, and I haven't fortunately been fortunate enough to find the right buck. And I appreciate everybody that watches. If you like what you see, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification button, comment, tell your friends, share it if you can, which I don't think I did, but I appreciate all of you. And this is my taxidermy video. I have some other collections, you know, if you'd like to see those, let me know. I've got some cool stuff. Have a great day. Hunt hard.